So anyway, look, loads to get through today. So we're going to talk about the title race. We're going to talk about Mohamed Salah. And we're going to talk about the fact that suitors are lining up for Mo. $250 million Saudi contract looks like it's going to be put on the table. Reports about PSG as well being interested. We're going to talk about that tonight. And we're going to ask, what is it going to take for compromise to be reached here between both sides? So loads for us to get through tonight. We're going to speak mainly about Salah. So whether you're happy about that or not, he is the main talking subject today, because there's been a whole multitude of reports out there about Salah. And look, at this point, I'm just getting frustrated and confused by it all. So let me read you through the earlier stuff today from The Athletic, and then we'll talk about that. And then we'll move on to some of the reports later on tonight. So the first few things I'm going to read out are mainly about Salah staying at the club and what it might take. So let's go through some of The Athletic's comments. So they've said Mohamed Salah would accept a 1-year contract at Liverpool, but is growing increasingly exasperated at the club's handling of negotiations. I don't blame him. I'm getting completely fed up with it all at this point as well. And I don't think a 1-year contract extension is good for anybody in this scenario. I don't think it's good for him. I don't think it's good for us fans. I don't think it's good for the club, because it gives us the exact same headache and the exact same things we'll be talking about next season. So it just kicks the can down the road for me. I would like it to be a minimum of 2 years so everybody knows where they stand. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but do let me know. Also, it said Mohamed Salah is still waiting for Liverpool to reveal its position in relation to the length and terms of any potential deal, amid interest from top European clubs in signing him on a free. I've got more questions than answers about this, to be honest, folks. How have Liverpool not told Mo what they're thinking in contract terms with regards to either a number or a length? Surely Rami Abbas has had that conversation. And if not, I think we've got bigger problems. You know, how can he not know what Liverpool are thinking? I'm sure Rami Abbas must have some feelers out there with Liverpool about what they're thinking. So that was the next thing The Athletic said. We'll move on to another part now where it said Liverpool have consistently maintained that discussions with Salah through his representative Rami Abbas have been positive and are still ongoing. But Salah is frustrated at the pace of talks and unconvinced the club will meet his expectation on terms. The next part said Salah's priority is to extend his stay at Anfield and he is not agitating to leave. Yet he also believes he is amongst the best players in the world and the terms of any new deal should reflect that status and his performance levels this season. And finally it said Salah believes he is approaching his peak and will maintain his levels. He is desperate to win the Premier League and Champions League with Liverpool this season. So what I will say on this one, folks, is that line about Salah feels he is approaching his peak, I can't buy into that. I'm sorry. You know, I'll defend Mo to the hilt on here, but he's past his peak. And I'm not having it. You know, he's going to be 33. There isn't a single part of me that believes we haven't seen him peak physically, mentally, maybe not performance-wise, because we are seeing very interesting numbers this season from Mo. But yeah, that's the one line that sticks out to me that I just, I'm sorry, I'm not having that. He's already peaked. So was Virgil, and so was any player at this point of their careers. Now, we can still talk about how great he is, and the numbers this season speak for themselves. You know, we spoke about another statistic that he's broken. Him and Wayne Rooney now 36 times. They have scored and assisted in the same Premier League game. Only those two now at the top, so only Mo capable of pushing on from that. But yeah, I think if we're being fair and realistic about this, do you know what? Let's start that off with a poll, because I'm genuinely interested to see how you guys feel about the whole peak comment. 1 second. Right, so simple question. Is Mohamed Salah past his peak? I'm going to put that in, yes or no, into the chat. It should be. I'm hoping common sense prevails here, because all of us want him extended. All of us believe he's still doing great numbers. And all of us know, physically, Mo is in a great place. But this approaching his peak line, I'm sorry, that's just PR nonsense from any side. Even to write that, Salah feels he's approaching his peak. Come on now. Come on. I know you got to do, you got to stand your ground and all, but I'm not buying that. I'm just not having it. When Salah takes his shirt off, he's as ripped as you, Craig. We do go to the same gyms, just obviously a very different workout routines. He actually does something while I sit in the snack bar. He's incredible, isn't he? Physically, he's absolutely incredible. So, Bradley, thank you, mate. First super chat of the day. Bradley said, it seems only logical that the longer his contract, the more we would sell him for. So, it could only benefit the club to keep him. I mean, I guess there has to be two sides to all of this. And I don't think Salah would be signing a contract thinking that he'd want the club to sell him. So, and you have to be honest about that as well. 2 years just feels the common sense answer here. For me, anyway. Bush Baptist said, he may be ripped, but it's not his abdomen that plays football. So, yeah, look. As a player gets older, for me, certain things they get better at. Decision making, reading the game, knowing when to use their physicality, maybe when to rest up for a moment. So they do gain knowledge and, different ways of influencing a game of football. But also, he has lost a yard of pace. He's still fast, but he's not the Mohamed Salah of days gone by. So, yeah, for me, I think, look, he's on a very, very slow decline. And he's not far off his peak, but I'm just not having that line personally. So we asked, is Salah past his peak? So far, 54% say no, he isn't past his peak. And 46% say yes. I'm genuinely astonished at that, to be honest with you guys, because I don't know of any player that's heading for 33 that anybody would describe as not being past their peak. He's not taking on players as well as he used to. He's not as quick as he used to be. I fail to see how he's not a little bit past his peak. Now, maybe you're thinking, Craig, hang on. You're judging him on those things, but let's look at the numbers. And numerically this season, he's in great form. But we do have to take a couple of things into account here, and I think the club also have to take a couple of things into account. We've been fortunate this season that we've had no AFCON. He's been given a couple of international windows where he's had limited to no travelling or playing with the Egyptian national team. He also got a full rest in the summer. So we've seen the benefit of that this year. Can we say moving forward in a year or in 2 years that these same things are going to apply? No, we can't. So there will be times next year and the year after where he's away with Egypt. He's playing in AFCON games and he's doing stuff that will tire him. So maybe that's where we need to increase the size of the squad a bit or something. But we do have to be mindful of these things because it's almost a perfect storm for Mo this season. He's playing brilliant. Arna's doing well. The team are doing well. So yeah, we do have to keep that in mind. Presumably he wants what Erling Haaland earns. Well, he's not going to get that at Liverpool. There has to be some trade-off here. So for the familiarity of staying where he is, of his family being settled, of playing in a team that's challenging, of being idolised and adored, that has to carry some weight in this situation as well. So if you're Liverpool, you're looking at it and you're thinking, well, where else can he go that he's going to have all of this and feel as a home as he does? So, we do have to look at it from both sides. As fans, we all want Salah to stay. We all want Salah to sign. But it can't be just at the expense of common sense either. There does have to be a middle ground in here. And both people, the club and Salah, have to compromise on this. David said, at this point, what does Mo have to do? He's scoring all around him. He's playing out of his skin and he deserves it. I don't think, David, it's even a question, bro, that he deserves it. I'm with you. Every one of us here think, I'll go even a little step further than your good self, David. I think it's quite an embarrassing act that we're in this position, mate. I think it's embarrassing that the club are being basically called out on it. And embarrassing because they should be called out on it is what I'm saying. Like, I have a very different stance on Jamie Carragher about all of this. I think that I'm embarrassed that Mo has to feel like he needs to do this to get this contract moving along. It quite simply is a disgrace. And if anybody isn't saying that, I don't know what to say. I don't. How can you get us to this point where we're in a position in the league where we're absolutely flying? Everybody's on the same page. The manager's working absolute miracles. The players are responding to it. And I just don't understand. I don't understand how we still haven't got anything resolved. I've asked this question loads of times that I don't know what Hughes has been doing since he's come to Liverpool. Truly, I have no idea. Like, all we get told is, oh, these are complicated things. I know, fair enough, but you've had long enough now. I don't know, I'm starting to fear it. I'm starting to fear it because I can't see a rational reason anymore why it's being dragged out. And the more I hear from Salah's camp about the situation, so those athletic comments from earlier on, the more it feels like he hasn't even been given the information about how long the club want to keep him. I mean, that's astounding. It is absolutely astounding to me that the club haven't... Like, I thought right now, hand on heart, right now I expected us to be at the small details part of these negotiations. So, you know, image rights, bonuses on goal scoring. Same with Virgil. But it doesn't seem like we're even close to that. And something stuck in my mind earlier on. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the interview we did with David Lynch. Something David said stuck in my head. And it was, between now and the end of the season, Liverpool have to get this resolved, yada yada. I don't think we can even let it go that long. I think we can't. Like, for me, and I can only speak for me, it's between now and the 1st of January. You know, you can't let this go into the season past January, because at that point the floodgates are open. Anybody can chat with them. We can't stop them. You know, it feels more like we are making excuses if we allow it to get to the point where we're thinking end of the season. It has to be January before then. It has to be, surely. Jonathan Kirkley said 2-year deal with a further 1-year deal if fitness is okay. Yeah, that would be, you know, for me, Jonathan, for Virgil and for Mohamed, I would say 2-year guarantee, 1-year club option, and go from there. You know, I can absolutely understand the club not wanting to look past 2 years guaranteed. That's common sense. But to not even have communicated maybe what you're thinking in that regard, at least if we're taking what the Athletic are reporting, that they're being told from that camp, or that they're hearing, if we take that as a fact, then I'm very confused as to what's going on. Because somebody somewhere is telling porkies.